Have you ever felt like your perception of the world was different? That you're not quite like everyone else? Maybe even like your perception of the world is surreal? Like maybe you're seeing beyond what other people see? Maybe you've had a moment where money and opportunity seem to come out of nowhere and almost felt like magical? Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, then you might be what I call a mystical entrepreneur, right? Someone whose gifts, perception, and spiritual insights, they're not a limitation, they're actually a superpower. Now, I well, actually, let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of Alice in Wonderland syndrome? It's a real thing. And when I was a little boy, 9 years old, living in Virginia, I experienced it. It's a rare neurological, quote, disorder, right? Notice the framing, disorder. Maybe it's not a disorder, maybe it's a superpower. And in it, what happens is the sufferer, the one who's suffering from it, experiences objects bigger or smaller than they are in, quote, reality. There might be perceptual shifts like the room seems tilted. Can you think of some famous people who might have? Yes, indeed. Lewis Carroll is believed to have experienced this. Salvador Dali would be another. Aldous Huxley, right? So I had this experience when I was a little boy. It was scary at first and then kind of cool and fun. It was scary for my mother. And it's come back to me now because I've been having similar experiences lately. And what prompts me to share with you? One, I'm curious if you know about it. For years, I tried to find info on it and couldn't. I researched on the internet and then later recently came around to AI, and that's where I found out a bunch more information about it. Right. Really, though, the reason I'm bringing this to you right now is because we've got a long history of mysticism and spirituality and money, success, business being pulled apart, right? And so there's so many heart-centered, spiritual, mystical, genuinely loving people who struggle with money, with business, right? And it's a bummer. It's a real bummer because one, it doesn't have to be that way. True, this division is not based on anything other than conditioning. And we could wonder why that might have been conditioned. We'll leave that aside for now. Money's energy, right? Mystics see the world differently. Right? Sometimes it's perception, sometimes just possibility is different. And that's exactly why, if you identify as a mystical entrepreneur, we need you in business. We need people in business who see possibilities different, who are changing the world. And visionaries, they need to be resourced, right? Nobody can serve the world if they're struggling. I love in Derek Sivers, I forget which piece of his literature it is, but one where he's like, if you want to change the world in a positive way, get rich, right? Get rich first so you have the capability. And a lot of it for so many people is the belief that, again, that spirituality and business, that marketing and sales, that's yucky stuff, that's slimy stuff. Well, it can be, right? And it is for some people. It doesn't need to be, though. We'll get to that in a minute. But think about it. People like Jesus, he wasn't broke. He had resources, patrons, financial support. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., they didn't reject money. They harnessed it. They used it to make an impact. So what do we do with this? How does this apply to you? Right? Let's break it down now. Right? First is know your superpower. I got 3 keys for you. Embody the shift. Trust your perception of the world. It's not wrong. It's different. It's medicine. It's possibility, right? Your deep inner work, the experiences you've had, right? They matter. So love what you do what you love. Here's a radical possibility. You can create everything you want by doing what you love and only what you love. Second, spirituality needs to also be actionable, right? Not just meditate in a cave in the Himalayas all day. No, right? One of my favorite lines from my mentor, Steve Hardison, in the book, The Ultimate Coach, one of his clients reached out to him and said, "Oh, I'm really struggling." Steve's advice was a quick text. It was read your document, right? I refer to document as manifesto, supreme self manifesto. It's our written out form, spoken out form of who we are at our best, what I call the supreme self. So Steve's advice, read your document and get into action. Do something, right? Call somebody, make something, write something, do something, speak to someone. Third piece, marketing and sales. Ooh, for spiritual people, these are often dirty words. Here's the thing, y'all. Yeah, there are people that do transactional sales and who are pushy, and it's really for them. Of course there are, right? And if I'm honest, there were times when I was that way too, when I was selling car stereos. That's how I paid for college. And not that it was like I was selling junk or anything, but I was looking at which stereo was going to benefit me more if I sold it. That was where I was at in my development. I don't love that when I look back at it now, but that's where I was. But now, sales and marketing, it's transformed for me. I've transformed it. I see marketing, and I'm inviting you to see it this way. Marketing is service, it's teaching, it's helping people. Sales, it's where action starts. It's enrolling people in not only in a possibility, but in taking action. Sales is leadership, right? And for you, if you're a coach or a healer, that's where when you sell someone, when they say, "Yeah, I do want to work with you. How do I pay you?" That's when you can really start to work, not just because you're making money, right? And again, you need to make money, you need to be a resource, but more because they've invested, right? Now they got skin in the game. That's when the real magic happens. So I hope this is useful. I would love to hear from you. What makes sense? What's your feeling about this? Are you a mystical entrepreneur? How do you apply that? What are your struggles? What are your breakthroughs? Thank you so much for tuning in. I love that you are here. I love you. See you later. Bye. Oh, wait, turn off. Bye.